So I just saw Renfield and yeah, this one didn't do it for me. The movie's about Dracula and his servant Renfield. They've been working together for hundreds of years, and Renfield is starting to feel disrespected by Dracula. When he feels like he deserves a better life, Dracula decides to get revenge. So I was very excited to see this movie for two main reasons. One, Nicolas Cage is in it. And he's in a perfect role suited for him. Also, the fact that it's a horror comedy about Dracula and his servant, and it's kind of an abusive relationship story, sounded really funny. And I'll give somewhat credit for this. It turns out that whenever they actually do focus on this relationship, especially when Nicolas Cage is actually on screen, it's really funny. There's especially one scene in an apartment that seems pretty primed up for comedy, and just Nicolas Cage's overall reaction to the situation is perfect. In fact, I think Nicolas Cage and the character of Dracula are spot on. And I do think the actual comedic chemistry he has with Nicolas Hoult is pretty strong. But really, I'm really sad to report that the story of this movie isn't really about that. The main overall plot, and the one that really gets a lot of focus, is actually about a crime family and police officer drama. There's plenty of action throughout and plenty of spikes of dark humor, which is appreciated, but ultimately whenever we actually had to focus on the cop stuff, I definitely zoned out. Not to mention that the actual mafia family is so unfunny. I wasn't the biggest fan of Ben Schwartz in the film, kinda came across as really irritating and not in the way the film intended. The comedy in general is hit or miss. There are some scenes that really are funny and got a big chuckle out of me, but then you have jokes that just go way too fast and completely ruin the impact. The pacing in the movie in general is pretty inconsistent. The film just kinda zips to each different set piece, and it's ultimately not very satisfying. The climax is funny on paper, but unfortunately I just didn't really feel invested. I didn't really care about Awkwafina or Nicolas Hoult's struggles here, and their dilemmas in the finale just don't really land. I think either if the movie was just longer and we had some more time to breathe with these characters, it could have helped that, but at the same time I didn't really want any more of the cop cliches. I think if some of the comedy was refined and it was more focused on the actual Renfield and Dracula relationship, you know, the whole thing that the marketing campaign is centered around, the movie would have been a lot more effective. The action scenes, when they're fully allowed to let loose with its R rating, truly are a sight to behold and are goofy over-the-top fun. It's utterly just a shame that I can't say that this movie is fantastic, because I would absolutely love to say that. I want Nicolas Cage to star in more movies. I want more horror comedies. If anything, I can compare this movie directly to Cocaine Bear, a goofy, wacky, over-the-top premise that had dull, average plot lines inserted into it in order for average moviegoers to be invested. I don't know, if these movies tried to honestly just appeal to their niche fan bases and really went for it, I think they would have been a lot more successful in the long run. But yeah, I can't really recommend Renfield. It's not a horrible movie. I think Nicolas Hoult, Nicolas Cage, and Awkwafina are trying their hardest, but I don't think the script is good, and ultimately, it's just gonna end up being forgettable, which is a darn shame.
It's my least favorite part of the job.
I don't know.